Okay, today we are going to discuss the novel Pnin by Vladimir Nabokov. Overall, very much enjoyed this book. I have previously read other works by Nabokov that I enjoyed. Lolita, I'm sure many have read. Speak Memory, semi-autobiographical. Well, it's autobiographical. As well as some critical work about some other novels, some other Russian novels. I chose to read this book not only because I enjoyed those other books, but I know that after reading the back page, it was about a Russian professor, and anything Russian generally interests me, especially Russian literature, etc. So if you're interested in Russian culture in any way, I would strongly recommend this book. There's a lot of references to Russian culture and history. Dostoevsky and Tolstoy are mentioned quite frequently. In fact, there are some funny jokes. This book is full of jokes. It's very, very witty and just very sweet overall. The main character here is kind of a bumbling old man, and he just turns out to be extremely likable, and you kind of root for him, although he has this tragic, just many tragic events occur throughout the novel, and you really feel for him. But overall, it's very lighthearted, generally. Most of the parts that I thought were very funny were puns and just linguistic faux pas on not only the Russian professor Pnin, who speaks poor English, but also other Americans in the book. This book takes place in America at a university. This is a Russian professor teaching at a fictitious American university. So some of the other parts that I thought were very funny were Americans attempting to pronounce Russian words, names, or just say something about Russian culture or history. The fact that I've studied Russian culture, literature, history, I think helped me a bit with this book, but there was also much that I didn't get. I think I will for sure be rereading this book at some point. Overall, it's not a super dense book, but I did find myself having to reread some sentences. And that's kind of a good thing about it, is there's, one sentence will just start kind of on one subject, and then he will just go on to a total digression into left field, and that's part of the beauty in Nabokov's writing. As a prose writer, he's just fantastic, and that's one of the strengths of this book, is the humor, the charm, the lyricism. Not so much the plot, although the plot, it's not that nothing happens, it's just you don't really get like a traditional beginning, middle, and end. There's not like a goal that the protagonist is after. There's not really a true antagonist, although there are characters who kind of get in the protagonist's way in some cases, but generally there's not much of a plot with a big grandiose ending, which I think sometimes makes books more rereadable in some way, because it can't really be spoiled. It's not like, oh, I know what happens in the end, why reread this book. It's like I was on this wave and building and building and building, and then the big crescendo at the end, and it's like, okay, I'm satisfied, I read it. And to go back, maybe there will be some details I didn't necessarily pick up on. And of course, that's just not always the case. For great works with great plots, there's other things that will bring you back to it, but I generally think the plot might not be the thing that brings you back. And the fact that this book is not very plot heavy, I think will be not to its detriment in terms of me enjoying a second reread. In fact, there will be a lot more I think I'll have to pick up on a second rereading. It's not a long book at all. It's my version is 190 pages, not very dense, not very thick pages. It's interesting, I picked this book up at Harvard bookstore in Cambridge, which Nabokov lived for a time in Cambridge, and I believe he taught at Harvard, although I think he was part of their entomology department. He's very fascinated by butterflies, which is included in this book. Well, I'll just say that butterflies are mentioned several times, and so isn't chess. Nabokov was a avid chess. I think he constructed chess problems. That's as far as I know about it. But you'd imagine that he was a great chess player if he was if he could create chess problems. Anyway, what else can I say about this book? There were some very, very poignant tragic moments in this book. A lot of parts where I would read and I've got the feeling that I just had to stop reading and just let it ferment. Not that I didn't understand it, it's just the weight of it. I wanted to fully feel it and just wrap my brain around what he had just written for a while. And some of the parts were very impactful emotionally. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this book, and I will be rereading it at some point. I am going to read more Nabokov, so I would like to review some of his other books, and I think that's all for today.